All right, guys, so what we're going to be talking about today is email etiquette. We know that in our day today, email is a primary form of communication. So we want to really make sure that we're responding, in the most professional way that we can and learning and growing from our emails all the time. So one of the first rules of email etiquette that I want to talk to you guys about is your subject line. So the subject line is massively important.
Massively.
We have to compete with so many other communications that are happening via email. So it's very important that your subject line is clear, but also so that you can refer back to it, that it's distinct enough that it separates itself from other emails that may be similar. Let me give you an example. We have a lot of reporting, right? So many different reports. So if I were to do a subject line that says, reporting inaccurate, well, that type of subject line could be talking about any type of reporting. So we need to be clear. We need to say Kronos report, or even this week's Kronos report inaccurate, or Kronos report date range, blah, 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 inaccurate, right? Be specific. So that if you need to, look back to at a moment in time, that subject line really references it. Now, at the same time, it doesn't need to be a mile long. So again, you need to find the balance of being clear and concise, but at the same time, not being a book, right? So number 2 is, I realize that in our day and age, people are shortcutting words. We're abbreviating everything. Instead of Y-O-U, it's the letter U. Instead of A-R-E, it's the letter R. But in a professional setting, that is not acceptable. You can do that via text. You can't do it via email. Nope. So it's super important that we make sure that we leave all of that at the table. Don't even bring it to the party, right? It's also important that you kind of use the correct salutations. And for those of you who are like, I haven't heard that word in a century, it's your greeting, right? When you're responding to an email, it's appropriate to use the person's name. Especially if the person's emailing you for like the first time, you want to say, hello, Paul, instead of just, blah, 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 here's your answer. So if Paul says, hey, Melissa, I was told to reach out to you in regards to an email about setting up a new account. I wouldn't just want to reply and be like, here's the information to set up a new account. I would reply and say, hey there, Paul, glad you reached out to me. The information to set up a new account is below. It's just common courtesy to respond to a person by using their name. So number 3 is very important. And it's something that we have all been guilty of before. I know I'm guilty, so I'm going to try not to be a hypocrite here. But take it easy on the ... and the exclamation points. I'm the world's worst. I type how I talk because I want to make sure it's clear of where I'm putting the emphasis on the syllable, for those of you who remember that movie. So I type how I talk. If I say to you, I'm not really sure about that ... but I'll make sure to, no, that's not necessary. Before the ... existed, before it became a thing, right? We just used a period to separate a sentence. And I realize it helps place more emphasis, but at the end of the day, it doesn't belong in a professional setting. So leave the ... on the corner. And as far as exclamation points are concerned, remember the exclamation point means to exclaim. Exclaim means I'm excited. So easy with the exclamation points. All right, last but not least, and I've had a moment about this before, and I'll probably always have an occasional random moment about this. Let's talk about it. You know you want to. Reply to all. Let's be real here. There's very little times where it requires you to reply to every single person because every single person needs to know what you're saying. That's the only time reply to all is the appropriate time to use it, is if everybody needs to know what you are saying. And that's just not the case half the time. So before you hit reply to all, I want you to say to yourself, does everyone really need to know what I'm about to say? And if the answer is yes, click it. If it's not, don't. Just simply click reply. Just say no. And I have no idea why I'm going to end the lesson this way, but I've always wanted to do this. This girl is on fire. Okay. I just had to.
And now, get ready for some hashtags. Hashtag moment. Hashtag choices.